Right, video time. Where do I start with this? I mean, it was a running car, but it ran badly. It shook around the place and it did get hot multiple times. I drove it once to a film shoot just in Petone and it made it there. It's definitely steamed up in the car park, but it did the job and I knew it was a little bit ropey. There was a few things going on, so the other night I was walking past having a beer. I should hide the brand just in case, but just having a beer, and I was like, oh, I want to have a look under the rock cover. I never looked at one of these motors, just how these things progress pretty quickly. So the first thing I noticed was number 4 valve stuck. The main overhead cam there, there's no, it's just had the quite funny arrangement, like the old Nissans, so it just had, fallen away, and there was nothing moving, so there was no noise at all from it. And if you ever look at this cam, it's I don't want to roll it around the floor, but it really is garbage. It's that's a good bit there. You can see just how much that it's hard with phone cameras. The GoPro's gone flat, but it's right. Yeah, that's better. That's just hammered, like low oil and over adjusted, and probably sticky valves and all sorts of garbage. And could work with it. Hey Jane, could work with it if have to. Clean these up and polish them and get them built up, or find another cam. But sadly, let's have a look at what we're dealing with for the rest of this. So stuck valve. Okay, you can push them up. There's ways around that, but I drenched it. But that's because it's a hemispherical combustion chamber. I was like, I could try and force the valve up from underneath, but could bend it. So strip this all down. Bolts missing everywhere. And all these things are corroded. Never a good sign. Timing chain was loose. Tensioner, if I can reach it, probably can't, it's in the box. It's adjustable, but it's also spring loaded. The plunger at the end, the spring collapsed. Just obviously had been wound and wound and wound and wound until it was just the ends of the spring just pushing together to hold it together. But as I dug a bit deeper, I've got the head unbolted. I was going to lift it off, but I thought I'd just do this first and kind of show what's happening. It'd be fun to reveal what it looks like underneath. This motor stinks, and if you've pulled apart motors, a load like I have, that awful smell of like a motor that's had cracked rings and been having blow by and grossness, and it's just slimy. I've actually degreased this motor twice, can you believe? But I'll get down here with the phone, try not to break anything. But see that big crack right through the block? That was covered in silicone. I took a little tiny chisel I've got, which is just a really small file that's been sharpened into a chisel. It's quite a useful little tool. Made a bit of a dig, and there's a big ledge. It's definitely blown out all the way from there all the way along. That could be stitched. We have the power. We can, I know these are like a stress cast block, but it could be not so much welded, but plugged and stitched, and there's things you can do with that. But when all the bolts are hammered, and someone's been here before, like half of the head bolts, they had chisel marks on them, and these things are torqued quite hard, like a modern engine. They're not like the old 50 foot-pound, older side valve heads or whatever, but these things are cranked, and it's quite a precision machine. That's kind of one of the things that's kind of the draw card of these cars, is that they were a bit advanced for the early 50s. But I'll lift this head off, I'll film it again, I'll get it in the engine bay. I've had the GoPro, I'd lift the head off with it set up, but I've got my phone, that's it. Lift the head off, we'll have a look inside. I basically, now it's just for argument's sake, we're this far, see what it looks like inside. Oh yeah, exhaust manifold bolts, most of them were gone. These larger ones in the centre, what a prick of an idea. They're okay. I guess they kept it, together and on. But all the ones at the end, it was like there was one stud there. And I think a stud there had like half a turn before it came loose at that end. So yeah, just someone's kept this thing going with, like all of these. Like that's one in the engine. It's just rounded to hell. Lucky I had a flare spanner of a slightly smaller than 7/16, and I could smack it on there. But look at this one. Oh, go on, focus. Isn't that a beauty? That's the kind of garbage we're working with here. But at least, hey, look, there's twin horns, and it's all there. It's all as it should be. The glass washer bottle is there. It's in good order. Replace everything rubber. Put a motor that works in it. The radiator's in good shape, but look at all the wiring harness. The wires will be alright, but yeah, just do every bullet connector under the sun. But yeah, like the radiator, wicked radiator. It steers and it stops. I put new brake hoses on the front. They had gone gooey, just as these wiring connectors do. It was in the back of a paint shop for decades, and I imagine the solvents must have just attacked every rubber component, because I've never seen bullet connectors that bad everywhere. Like, they're just goo. Surprisingly, everything works. I guess nothing's shorted yet, but I wouldn't want to drive it down a bumpy road at night with the lights on. Go up and smoke. But, that's it. I will... I completely forgot what I was going to say, but I will turn this off, and I'll get in here with some gloves and whatever else, and I'll yank the head off, put it on the bench, and I'll start up again, and we'll have a dig and see how bad these bores look, tops of the pistons, the underside of the head, state of the gasket, all that kind of stuff, because if I could smack that valve out and the gasket survived, I was just going to copper coat it all, torque it back down, clean it all up, put some new studs in some places, adjust the timing chain, do what I can, get it running again. But kind of what's the point with that? I know we can run some iron tight through it, and it'll probably be alright for a period of time. I've got a lot of time for that product. I hate easy fix kind of bottled crap that you get from fix head gasket or leaking rear main, and it's like, it's just pissing money away, really. But the old iron tight and stuff, that does tend to work. It keeps you going. It can get you running in an old nail of a thing. The amount of old Holden 6s I've had in Land Rovers that have been, had dealt with a frost and got a, busted, cracked head, or, stuff pissing out everywhere. A couple of bottles of that, and they do their job, which was generally keep moving around the farm or, down to the beach when they were worth nothing. Of course, now you wouldn't do that, but, needs must and all that. So, yeah, you look at the state of the rubber. That's just the wiper, the washers and everything, but yeah, all the rubber bits are like that. The heater hoses are just goo. Like, again, none of it's hard to replace. It's all just off the roll, They're all straight pipes, even to the radiator there and down. Yes, that's one good thing. Nothing's complicated or moulded bend like an old Daimler V8s or anything else. Alright, I'm waffling. I'm going to finish that beer, and then I'm going to lift this head off. Cool.